Well, the greatest train that ever run down America's railroad track was the Orange Blossom Special, bringing my baby back. From New York to Miami, you could see them drivers roll, but the Orange Blossom Special don't stop Waldo anymore.
Hey everybody, it's Lydia, the TallyStitcher, back with Flosstube number 19. Welcome to my cross stitch channel on Flosstube here. Welcome back if you're already a subscriber. If you've wandered in from the cold, welcome. I hope you have fun here. This is, like I said, a channel mostly about cross stitch, stitching, designing, researching, with all sorts of stuff that pops in as I kind of ramble along. I've been doing this since January, so this is kind of neat. We're almost at Flosstube 20, which I believe will be probably filmed in January. This first year of Flosstube and kind of intense stitching is new for me, and I'm still finding the scheduling, how it works along with my life. And there's been a lot of changes this year, so we're always rolling with the punches around here. Christmas tree's still up. I like this little setup here. The lighting's getting better and better the more that I film. Yeah, so I have an agenda here for you guys, so I can actually stay on topic and mention everything that I want to mention. The last two videos that I uploaded last week were my whip parade, which was all of the works in progress that I have started pretty much since 2016, although I really only started stitching in earnest at the end of 2020. Yeah, I'm the TallyStitcher because I'm in Tallahassee, Florida, where I have been for over a decade now. I am a born and bred Floridian, which is a little different. I have two cats, one of which is making noise right now. But let's get to it. So first thing at the top of my list, I am over 600 subscribers, and that is so exciting. Thank you so much. I had no idea how many we would get going. There's been a lot of influx after the whip parade. I think we kind of start grabbing in a lot of people at the end as we start seeing everybody's projects kind of parade past. And we kind of see who we like, who we want to steal some patterns from. So that's really exciting and cool. And yeah, so I think it's like 619, so neat. I want to start out with stuff that I'm loving right now. I know some people have like super formulaic floss tubes. That's why it's really nice to tune into your episode and see the little segments you like. So, you know, Crisscross Stitch has story time and toy chest, and Stitchman Darcy has musical interludes and all sorts of stuff. Ginger Gerald has plant time and knitting time, and right now he's doing Flossmas. So he actually has been showing what he's been cooking for dinner. So we're always like, oh my gosh, I'm so hungry right now. By the way, the date today is December 11th, 2021. It's a little afternoon. I wanted to stitch a little bit this morning to show you a little bit more progress on one of the new starts. But yeah, so things that I'm loving are advent calendars. I had thought about starting the small, tiny freebie from DMC. Rewind. I don't know which editing program I'm going to use for this, so I may not have inserts. I will have stuff here and always links below in the description box, but I don't know how fancy they'll be going on. I'm still reworking what I use for that. Anyway, so what I'm loving, advent calendars. And I know a lot of people have different ones they're working on. Some people do them as ornaments. Some people do them as, you know, a whole chart. Some people have ones that are getting revealed to them. Those are really neat. I might look into those next year. Like you might get a different floss a day or a new pattern a day, and that's really cool. So I had thought about stitching the tiny little DMC one that has not started, so it may not start this year, and that's totally fine. But one that did come on my radar that I am loving and will try to stitch probably next year is by the Laurel Witch, and she is doing her Witchmas advent calendar, and they are free patterns. She's releasing one a day, and they are so cute. It's little witches decorating their Christmas tree or getting their little brew going, little witches shoes, still with like a winter theme, and I absolutely am in love with them. So check her out on Instagram, the Laurel Witch, and all the links for her advent calendar kind of populate through her link tree. So those are, yeah, so cute. So that's one thing I'm loving going on forward. Let's start with finishes, because you know those are kind of rare around here. I am definitely a serial starter, and I do not stitch as quickly as some others. My husband, mostly because we have a joke in the house that if I thread a needle to start something, that's when my boy cat will want cuddles. So I don't get a ton of stitching done sometimes if he's in a particularly cuddly mood, which is totally fine. He's my baby. But during the week of Thanksgiving, I had gone on a social media fast for the whole week. I've never done one that long, I don't think. And it was very interesting because, you know, you start realizing how much you pick up your phone, how much dead time you fill with scrolling. I read an entire book in a day, which I hadn't done in a long time, started another one, and, you know, finished projects. I still watched YouTube and stuff. It was mostly the social media fast was hard on Facebook and Instagram, and then I actually tried to also stay off of Etsy, because as you know, as we sit here and watch our little floss tubes, we find all the patterns people are working on and we're like, oh my god, I need that immediately, which totally happens. So I wasn't as successful with the Etsy fast. I don't remember if I ended up buying anything, but I would find myself using that as a little outlet and be like, oh no, we need a fast from this too. So really thoughtful kind of week. Also, it wasn't terribly difficult, you know, because, you know, from Wednesday night to Sunday, my family was in town. We were doing stuff, bip-bopping along, had a great Thanksgiving, got my Christmas tree, which y'all saw in the whip parade. So yeah, but I did get 2 finishes that week. Not just in time for Thanksgiving, but I did, but I got them done in the month of November. The first one is one that I picked up and started stitching back on because I didn't have the pattern for the Modern Folk Embroidery stitch along. It was like in the other room, and I was like, well, I don't feel like going and getting it. So I picked the closest thing up that was in a hoop and ready to go, and that was my Whataburger Sal. So I finished my Whataburger French fries, which was a free pattern that Whataburger released earlier this year. I bet you some sweet intern had to do it, which is really exciting. I love Whataburger. My husband, I love Whataburger. It's one of my favorite, like, North Florida type things. I grew up in Central Florida where they don't have Whataburger. And yeah, so, I mean, it's just a fast food chain. It's like really consistently good enough, which is fine. And they released this pattern, and in the original, they had done a little floral hoop around it. I just picked a random piece of fabric that I had, so I don't really have enough room at the top, as you can see, to do much more stitching. So what I'm probably going to do is I'm calling this finished for now, and I'm going to finish it. When you go to Whataburger, they have little plastic table tents with your number on them that are orange and white striped, much like this vibe here. And I'm going to try to do a flat fold where half of it is, you know, the pattern and half is a stripey thing, because it's going to be cute. I think my husband suggested that idea, or somebody did. And yeah, so that'll be a finish in the future, just for funsies, because it makes me happy. And it might go live at work, because one of my coworkers, like, also a big fan of Whataburger, because yeah, So this was I needed to finish like the French fries on it, and then I did the back stitching on the fries to give them some definition, and I'm calling it good, calling it done. I put, it says 21, so there we go. I feel like the camera's backwards. It'll probably fix itself. But yeah, so I just did 21, didn't put my initials or anything. So super, super satisfying, quick little stitch. Finished it up while I was chatting with my family when we were hanging out. The other finish, and I'm like, where did I put my piles of stuff? It's cool, we'll figure it out as we go. The other finish I had was a partner piece, literally partner piece, because my husband stitched the first part and I stitched the second part, and that was of Lindy's stitches, Mr. and Mrs. Delicious. So he did Mr. Delicious, he finished that, and I finished Mrs. Delicious. And I finished her, I think I actually finished this probably before the Whataburger. Sorry, I gotta fluff. All right, so there's my finish of Mrs. Delicious. She was so fun. We switched a couple things. We flipped the bottom border to mirror the top because in the original design they are the same, as in like the little chevrons, little bursts, all face down in the original pattern, but we wanted this to flip and face up, so I did that. And there's a couple of colors that are swapped out because when we were at the needle workshop that sorry, that's a cat checking out some other stuff from you. When we were at the needle workshop where we picked up the supplies for this, they were out of a couple colors, so we just color swapped. But otherwise, she's, you know, she's pretty on brand. I didn't try super hard with her body to try to get the swirl effect that I kind of see sometimes, or like some people are really good with variegated floss and getting it to do magical things. I tried doing a swirl in the gourds. It didn't really show up too much because the colors are so light, but going forward, I'd like to try some of those big, hey, buddy. Sorry for the crinklies, guys. He's ruining the surprise for you, Giuseppe. Going forward, I want to try something that has like a bigger pumpkin so I can try a swirl with a variegated and see how it shows up. So yeah, Mrs. Delicious, she was finished in November. She's on my tracker, and yeah, yay! I'm also not doing a finish parade this year because I only finished a couple things, like 5 maybe. Most of which are gone because they were presents. So you will be surprised at how quickly things get done if they are being sent to somebody else. But that's cool. You can check out finishes that have left on my Instagram, which is Lydia E. Malone. That'll also be down below and probably across here. Yeah, time for a sip from the big mug. Yeah, this mug I painted myself at my bridal shower, which was at like a paint-a-pot place. It was great. So next, all right, finish is done. Now we're on to starts. Since y'all saw all the other whips last week, now we're on to more whips because they were new starts. So I have 3 new starts. I had planned 3. I had planned 3 for December. Now there will be 4. Most of it's Christmas stitching. All of it so far has been animals, which is totally fine. So the first start I did, I actually want to take it out of the hoop now that I'm looking at it, because I think you guys, it's small, so seeing it not in the hoop is easier. This is a mini banner by Dimensions, and it is the Cardinal Joy counted cross stitch, and it is this cute little banner that you will finish up. It has little bells. It comes with the hardware when you finish up, and I love it. I love cardinals. It just, all of it makes my heart sing. So, sorry about the rustling. He's really obsessed with this bag. Excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me. You're ruining the surprise. I was trying to keep it out of camera, but it's not going to happen. It's kind of like having toddlers. It's fine. It's totally fine. Anyway, so I pulled it out of the hoop because a lot of the work I'd done was being smushed by the hoop, but here's where I am on Cardinal Joy. Some people I've noticed don't iron like me. Anyway, some people I've noticed will leave their favorite parts to stitch till last, which reminds me of like when you're eating and you like save like your favorite part of the meal to finish, like your last bite is that thing. Or maybe it's your first bite, or maybe although I'm a foodie, you know, I love really good food. I love making really good food, eating it. I am still, I think, a little childish, and sometimes I eat my food separately, or I'm very methodical is really the word. So I've noticed some people do that with their stitching, and they'll leave their favorite part to the end, or maybe they'll want to knock out their favorite part. I'm just watching all of the chaos about to happen as my little boy is tearing stuff up. Anyway, so I'm kind of leaving the bird to start last, which means I'm working on all of the little foliage. And I think there's going to be little red berries. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Yeah, there's going to be little red berries in there. But I think I want to do all the foliage in the frame and then do the bird. And then I'll come down, do the Joy. They also give you the charts for the French, which is Joy. Joy, maybe. And then, you're all having all sorts of sounds right now. Girl, what are you doing? Bruh. Hang on. I don't know why he's misbehaving so badly today. Hi, hi, hi. Okay. I had to give him a mask to play with, which he doesn't want to play with now. Anyway, this is how it is over here. Yeah, so I'm going to save to the little bird. They also give you the charting for Spanish, but it's not like Joy. It is Alegría. I guess you could also, since you can fit Joy, which has 4 letters in French, you could try to chart like Noel or something. I don't know. So I don't know what I'm going to stitch. I like the idea of perhaps switching it out for a different word. But yeah, I'm excited to finish that. We'll talk about it a little bit later as well. But that's my progress on Cardinal Joy, which is by Dimensions Mini Banners. Yeah. So after that, I had planned in my planner to start either Tudor Ermine or it's called Christmas is Coming, which I also call a Christmas snail. But then I remembered, because I have pretty terribly undiagnosed ADHD, then I remembered or kind of reminded myself that it was the Dinosaur December Sal that I believe was started by Belushi Stitches. I did some research before I wrote my little pen down, my little notepad. And I was like, oh no, I need to get my Dinosaur Sal figured out, because I had saved a bunch of patterns on Etsy. And I thought, I was like, oh, what supplies do I need? Do I want to get more? Do I want to stitch from stash? And I was looking at the patterns and I was like, no, honestly, I know what I want to do. Like, I wanted to do more of a fossil is what I wanted to do. So I did, looked up some noodling of one of my favorite dinosaurs, and I plugged in a very famous image into my Stitch Fiddle pattern maker, kind of adjusted it to be the size that I wanted on the fabric that I have, and we had a start for the Dinosaur December Sal, and it is this guy. I'm not holding him incorrectly. This is how it is charted. I would show you a preview picture, but I don't have one printed. Essentially, it is like the famous one from the Crichton book series. So Jurassic Park, it's a Velociraptor, and its body is kind of like this, and its tail comes around here. So, and it's got 2 claws and a little foot. So I'm working on it kind of as I go. I need to move this around, do his claws, and then come back, and then it'll do this move. So this is on a piece of 14 count Aida in rich chocolate. I'll tell you about the source in a little bit. And it is being stitched in, this is not the right one. It's a JP Coats. This is from the stash. And a JP Coats, the number is 288. So it's kind of a beigey kind of color. I didn't want bright white, and I thought ecru was a little too light. This is a similar color to ecru. That was a contender, but yeah, so love it. Super excited. It's giving me all the vibes that I wanted, you know, kind of like literally unearthing a fossil as you stitch. Love. And yeah, however, I'm trying to think of how it's being stitched. No, yeah, I started it horizontally. I mean, I started like over here, somewhere in the middle, did his head, then came over, and I'm working on these. I think these are ribs. So, yeah, super pleased with that for the Dinosaur December Sal. If you guys are watching it on Instagram, people are doing all sorts of stuff. And I believe it was started by Belushi Stitches. I probably heard about it through Stitchman Darcy. Yeah, so there's progress on that. And that's, you know, three or 4 days worth of progress. And I was thinking about pushing through for a finish because I was really, you know, making a good clip at it. But then I was like, no, I want to start something else. Or one of my other starts. Because I was in my feels about something. And I was like, I want to start something new. I feel better if I start something new. And that's totally okay. Time for another sip. I have the TV behind you and it's paused on YouTube. And I see all these other things I need to watch. I'm like, oh, look at that, look at that, look at that. It's we don't sign in for the YouTube on the PS4 that we watch it on. So it tries to keep an algorithm, but it really can't because we don't like anything or dislike anything. So it kind of can remember our searches and then stuff that we end up on. So sometimes the algorithm gets stuck on something really random, which is fun. So I kind of like that. Right now, it's got the breaking news up, but it also, like, you know, under recommended, I've got like a cash budget video savings challenge thing up, something about homemade Christmas candies, and then there's another Flosstube that I might pull up and watch after this. We'll see. Yeah, so fun times. I'm just getting distracted by it while I'm talking to you guys. Oh my god, we're already 22 minutes into this. I am not talking at the normal, I'm not moving at the normal clip. I think it's because I'm trying to add in a little bit more of the life stuff, because I do realize, like, I get way on task for this, which is totally fine, but people like the chit chat, right? So let's chit chat. So then I did decide to start one. I had my husband flip a coin on if I would start Tudor Ermine or Christmas is Coming, Snail Christmas. And he flipped a coin, which I don't even think was a US denomination. It was like something else. I don't know. We have some random coins on the table. And Tudor Ermine won, which is good because I knew where that pattern was. I know vaguely where the other one is, and I'll find it next week. But yeah, so Tudor Ermine by the Blue Flower, designed by Janine McGowan. This bad boy. Love. Look at him. Look at his little face. And I thought, as I was stitching the top part, which I'll show you, I was stitching and stitching away. Didn't make a lot of progress, so I wanted to do a little bit more this morning before I showed you this, which is what I was finishing up. I was like, oh yeah, they're totally, I'm totally stitching on the Tudor Rose right now. That's totally what I'm working on. And then I was like switching out to the white, to the whiter color. And I was like, wait a second, this is kind of weird for a flower. And it's because it's a mushroom. It's a mushroom. It's the Tudor mushroom, I guess. Anyway, so I wanted to finish that so I could show you guys more than just a half finished, what I thought was a flower, but is actually a mushroom. And then this is the beginning of the Ermine himself. So this is being stitched on 28 count. Get the thing. Trying to give you guys information. This is the fun part. So this is being stitched on a 28 count. Something by this company, True Colors. This is their sponged. It's a printed it's a printed thing, kind of like how they do Lugana now, in this medium-ish color. I picked it because it kind of matched the model stitch, and that was easy. And I'll tell you about the origin of this fabric as well pretty soon. But that's my progress on Tudor Ermine by the Blue Flower. She has other designs that are Tudor animals, which I might check out in the future. But right now I'm just going to mosey along on this for as long as I mosey along on it. And yeah, so we've got the mushroom. There's a crown above it that starts, and then the ermine. So maybe I'll do the ermine and the crown and then flip to something else. And then, you know, the border will be just border stitching. So there's that one. I'll come back to this and we will talk about it. It's on the list. It's on the list. Yes, so that it's actually coming up. So those are my 3 starts for like Christmas stitching, December stitching, and yeah. So I usually stitch on 14 or 16 count Aida. I have a couple projects that are on 28 count or 32 count. I think I'm trying to think if my Scent of Old Roses is on 32 count or if it's on 16 count. Good question. Which is probably in my whip parade. I know that Annie Pfeiffer is being stitched on a 28 count even weave that I got in a grab bag from Mercari. So yeah, so let's go ahead and do that. So this stuff, this is the True Colors. They call it backgrounds. I have no date on this. And then the dinosaurs being stitched, like I said, it's a Charles Craft. It's all shiny. A Charles Craft 14 count. I'm trying to see if I have 30 dates on here. They're not, but you can see whoever bought this originally bought it for $1. And that's because my coworker, not the one who likes Whataburger, although I'm sure she has nothing against Whataburger, when she found out that I cross stitch, because she's really crafty too, she was like, hey, so I don't cross stitch anymore. Would you like my stash? And I was like, yes, please and thank you. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. So she brought the big bag that Giuseppe was crawling around in. Most of it, also excuse the wrinkling, I'm going to show you some of the stuff that's in here. Most of it is fabric, a couple kits. So there's a bunch, this is actually waste fabric. So there's some waste fabric that she gave. Several of these really nice 28 count even weaves. This is a lighter version of, there we go, so you can see the comparison. So this is the one that the Tudor Ermine's being stitched on, and this is a lighter version that has that really nice sponged modeling on it. So what beautiful neutrals. I was so jazzed because I'm like, we never have fabric stash, or we're slowly building a little bit. You know, I've got some stuff that I was like, oh, I want to try dyeing on that, but mostly we buy fabric when we, you know, have specific projects for it. Here's one of those cross stitch towels. Might do one of those. This is a what is this? What is this? Oh, 14 count. Kind of they call it a flax cotton. Looks like fiddler's cloth to me. Y'all know how much I freaking love fiddler's cloth. I love this like rustic look. So that's super cool. That's a 12 by 12 inch. Just so happy. And then this is another 14 inch in like a really buttery yellow. I'm thinking Easter stuff maybe. I don't usually decorate for Easter, but I will start any ding-a-dang-on thing. So so 2 of those. Boom! Look at that. Like, how amazing. How amazing. A random piece of linen. Y'all know I do not stitch on linen. Look at that. That's that's decent. There's like 3, I just looking, there's like 3 little stitches in there. Anyway, I don't stitch on linen, but the husband does. So this is a really good chunk. I mean, this is like 12 by 17 or something. So, and a really nice, neutral, kind of creamy ivory, whatever. So he's obviously going to stitch on that. Not me. And what else do we get? Also, excuse the crinkling. Okay, we're out of the crinkly part. So these are some kits that she gave, which are printed, which is not how we usually stitch stuff. But here we have Underwater Tranquility by Sunset. Is there a date on this? 1996. So I was in like first grade when this came out. So we got some underwater stuff. This reminds me of Dizzy Stitcher because he loves doing animals and stuff. But it's a printed kit. So I don't know what we're going to do with these. I don't know if we're going to do them as giveaways, switch them out and do them on, if there's, I haven't opened it enough to see if there's a pattern in there. Why not? Let's look. Let's answer questions on camera. Looks like a coloring sheet. So no. So it'd have to go as a kit because they just show you kind of what you're doing. I don't feel bad showing this. It's not really a pattern. So those are kind of fun. There's that one. Of course, I'm covering my to-do list, y'all. How will I know what to do if I, you know? And then there's this one, which is, I guess it goes in a frame. It's called Special Memories by Kandamar Designs. And so you stitch the verse, and then it has the frame in the back. I'll flip back in a second. It has the frame in the back. You stitch the verse, and then you can put it up. So if you have a loved one who's passed, you can stitch this and have their memory in there. That's really sweet. Also super 90s. Does not have a date on it. And it says, I'll read you guys the verse. It says, people come into our lives and quickly go. Others stay for a while and leave an imprint on our soul. So that's really sweet, actually. So that's cool. And this is another Kandamar Designs. This is copyright 1999, and it is called Beginning Picture by Steve Hanks. And it's a little girl practicing her violin in front of a piano, in front of a beautiful window. This is another stamped kit, but I can tell there's a pattern in here too. It's not open all the way. My husband saw this one and he went, ooh. So I wonder how much of the girl you actually stitch by looking at this thing. Anyway, I'll have to investigate some more. But it looks like she's standing in front of like a tree. Like there's a tree in the background there. And then there was another really small kit, which if you follow my husband on Instagram, he is Metal X Stitch. He got a little tiny kit. It is Noah's Ark. And, you know, all of the animals are like, you know, their heads are maybe 10 by 10 stitches and they're in a little ark, and there's Noah. He looks like Santa Claus, and he's been working on that in between his Christmas presents he's been finishing up. He's been crazy busy at work because he is a carrier during all of this, so he's out every day getting y'all's packages delivered. So he comes home and does his little stitchies, and he has his little goals and stuff. So yeah, so that was awesome, and I'm so thankful for her for giving us stuff. And so I show her when I start things on the stuff that she gave us, and she said she found more, and I'm like, yes, because you know I love, it kind of fits into like my thrifty vibe. Like I love being able to rescue stuff. My mom does it too. She's had success picking up fabric and patterns at her thrift shops. I've had a little bit of success. And I know some of y'all have like thrift craft stores. Like that's a thing that exists. And I'm like, oh my God. Because mostly I will procure things from Mercari, which is an online shopping app or whatever. Or I've gotten a couple things off Etsy that are like vintage things. So, yeah, everybody's hobbies all tie into each other, you know? So yeah, super thankful for her. She is super bubbly, and she's kind of like, everybody has like a work mom. You know what I'm talking about. The person who you would go to if you needed a change of clothes. She's the work mom. So we are all in a team. There's a team of 4 of us. We're called the Sunshine Committee, and we plan all of like the holiday stuff and like all of these like morale boosters. And so we've been planning our holiday luncheon, and we have a door decorating contest. So I've been getting stuff ready for mine, and then we also have Secret Santa. So I've been like shopping for that. And yeah, she's not my Secret Santa, but like if she was, like I'd give her so much. Like I don't even know what I'd give her, because I know she doesn't do cross stitch, but she still sews and crafts and stuff. And anyway, gush. A few episodes ago, I probably mentioned this, or at least I probably did. They had announced another, maybe not a stitch along, but a series that was coming out in 2020 for 2022, and that was A Year in the Woods. And like my heart stopped when I saw the first pattern, and I was like, no, but yes, but no, but yes, but no, but yes. Take it out of the package, but no, but yes. I couldn't say no. I couldn't say no. This is before the social media fast. Maybe this prompted it, but I couldn't say no. This is A Year in the Woods #1, The Fox, by the Cottage Garden Samplings. Oh man. Just take a moment. Feel the vibe. How stunning is this little fox? The designer is Vinny P.S. Tan. I believe this is my first pattern by Cottage Garden Samplings, and it's going to be a 12-part series. If you check out there's previews that she has of what you can kind of do in terms of fabric choices. You can stitch them all on a nice neutral, or you can break it up. There's 3 what I imagine animals, 3 scenes per season, so there will be 12 altogether. They are all 100 by 130 stitches, and I'm in love. But I'm gonna behave. I'm not gonna start this. I'm not gonna kit it up. I haven't even thought about fabric really for this. Probably until I see up to spring, because then I'll see if I want to acquire the other pieces, and how I want to lay them out. But I'm just, oh God, it's so good. It's so good. Look at the little fancy paw. So this came, this is an acquisition. This came at some point between the last official Flosstube and now. Love it. Love it, love it. I was watching Trixie Tricycle the other day, and she had a long catch-up video, and she went on a tangent where she was like finding all of the patterns she had that had deers in them. Obsessed. And had either she mentioned it or someone else did. Y'all, I binge so much I don't remember who says nothing, because Swiss cheese brain. But someone else had said, oh yeah, like I did the peacock year, and like, I don't know if Trixie was talking about maybe starting like a deer year and focusing on deers. But how fun would that be to have to have like a themed year if your stash was deep enough, and some people have animals that they're super drawn to, and can't stop themselves from getting patterns of. Like Dizzy Stitcher, I know, loves big cats. Like when I see tigers, I think of Dizzy Stitcher. Like, what great branding. My mom's really into birds right now. Lindy Stitches, all about birds. So I think we all have things that we kind of focus on, you know, the animals that speak to us. I love cats. My little boy cat sitting over here in the window. I'd move the camera, but then we'd never get this correct angle back, so I'm not going to do that. So yeah, yes, so that was another acquisition. Now we're going to switch to the tablet because, again, I don't know if what I'm going to use to edit this video is going to have this part. So I planned ahead to show you guys stuff on the tablet. I had also originally mentioned to you I was planning on perhaps starting a temperature chart. I almost revealed it. A temperature chart for next year. I really liked Stitching Mommy's butterflies, but then this popped up and I'm like, gotta get it, gotta do it, gotta get it. And this is Temperature Library for 2022, designed by Christie's Corner Needlework, and look at that. Look at that. Temperature Library. Look, what sold me on this are the little inserts for the holidays. So, or the, you know, they kind of hold it. So like the skull for Halloween, the snow globe for Christmas or winter, and yeah. So, pulled that up, immediately hooked, hemmed and hawed, not for very long, about how I wanted to do this. And actually, the reason I didn't hem and haw for very long is because in her instructions, as she kind of gives you tips to do the patterns, she says, because you kind of have to figure out your own temperature range for where you live. She's in Missouri, I think. You have to change them. So in where I'm at, the high temperature spread between summer and winter is only 30 degrees. On average, it's only 95 degrees in the summer. That doesn't count the humidity. The humidity makes it like 115. But on paper, the highest is like 95-ish on average, and then the lowest, even, you know, middle of winter, February, the highs are usually like 60. So she charted this with 20 colors, and so she's recommending, you know, that you figure out your temperature ranges for those. That way you have enough, you use all your colors, but also that you don't prepare for colors you're never going to see because your region doesn't get to that temperature. But her little note says, the DMC colors I provided are a recommendation, and since there is no shading, you can easily replace them with any color you would like to match your decor. And she said, for example, if you are stitching this on a dyed cloth, you could do the bookcase in white. I love I love when we can do these sort of really intense like customizations. Like how gorgeous would a white bookshelf look? I gotta stop though. So from that, my brain immediately went to like, oh, well, I don't really have, we just moved. I don't know why I keep saying this, like we just moved. We moved in July. And we didn't really have, the style is thrifted. Sorry, I'm gonna have a little interruption here. Oh, he didn't even move for you guys. Sometimes he moves as I move him. Okay. Anyway, so. Oh, hang on. Pause, because I have to splice these together. All right, we're back. My phone gave me a warning that storage was almost full, and I was like, oh no, I'm not done yet. But also, I had forgotten to delete previous videos that have already been sent out. So, we're back. I was talking about temperature bookcase and how I was inspired by the actual designer to pick different colors. And so I decided to go with what I'm calling like a tonal chart. And these are the colors that I've chosen. You can see these better. Goodness gracious. What is going on here? I know this isn't the most ideal way to do this. Inserting pictures is better, but you get the idea. So there's still 20 colors like the original designer Christy put together, but I've switched it to be 4 groups of 5 in the same kind of color family in essentially driftwood, the shell pinks, the corals, and then the coppers. And I went through, and originally in my head I thought it was going to be like winter, spring, summer, fall, but then I remembered the way the temperature chart works is you're going to get more of a gradient where it's going to go, you know, whatever low numbers, medium, high, medium, super high, and then go back down, which is fine. I have come to peace with that because I still love this. I'm sorry that the colors are awful on this. Like I said, check them out on my Instagram. These are just screen caps from Everything Cross Stitch. Has a really decent color chart, color thing when they show their floss. That doesn't make any sense. Screenshots from Everything Cross Stitch, their DMC shopping page, essentially. So put that together, figured out the temperature ranges. Because the range here is so minuscule, like I said, high of 95, low of like 60, each color on this is just going to be like 2 degrees will be each color. I am still super excited. Christy saw it and commented on it on Instagram. I'm super jazzed about it. She shared it in her stories, which is really neat. She's Dr. Christy on Instagram, but also Christy's Needle Corner. And other people are maybe converting theirs as well. So that's going to be really cool. I don't know if there is a hashtag for this. If there is, I'll insert it or we'll find one, because that would be neat to follow people's temperature charts, but also their conversions. Like, was anybody doing a white bookcase on a color fabric? How cool is that? Because then you're kind of seeing like how the color of the fabric comes through based on the temperatures. I'm not sure. There is a squirrel, like, I thought it was falling out of the tree. Anyway, he's not. So there was that. What else? So that was the big one. So I need to decide on fabric for that. I need to see if one of those, stitchy kindnesses that my coworker gave me will work. Maybe the light tonal one might be totally fine. I just need to see the stitch count on it to start that, because then I do actually want to go ahead and like knock out the first frame of the bookshelf at least. That way it's done sometime this month. So I don't want to get super behind on that. Yeah, so those are all those plans. I still plan to stitch on, that wasn't really a plan. That was more of like an acquisition. Was that everything? That was all the haul. Okay. I don't know why I turned this off, because like I'm about to show you something else. I have been designing again a little bit. I'm in the very beginning stages of one of my other architecture pieces. If you are Floridian and you are familiar with Florida State, I'm doing Dodd Hall, which is the original library on campus. It is now where the religion department is housed. It's gorgeous. It's very intricate. I had asked a question on my Instagram about which programs people are using, if they like WinStitch, PC Stitch, whatever they use. I use Stitch Fiddle right now. I know it's not as robust as some of these other ones. Excuse that. Especially like as I'm doing Dodd Hall, which needs a lot of back stitching in it, and Stitch Fiddle is a little fiddly when it comes to indicating back stitching. Right, you're gonna see this cat fall into my coffee cup. Anyway, go on, go sit at the window. Go watch some squirrels. There we go. Okay. I know even though we cut the video for like less than a minute in real time, everything is new. Anyway. So I'm doing these designs and I start seeing people come out with little advent calendars. People are stitching minis, people are stitching ornaments, and I was like, I think I want to do something a little different. And that is, I don't think I have a picture of this one on here. And that is start making mini versions of some of the architecture pieces that I've done, because I know not everybody wants to dedicate the time to stitching a huge tower, except for me. sorry. I know really intricate architecture pieces are for a niche of us. But some people just like little things that they can finish that are still meaningful to them. So I decided to do, where is this? Some minis. And the first one I started working on is actually a mini Bach Tower, which of course I don't have a picture of, but it's on my Instagram. I actually don't have I didn't print the chart out yet or like make it a PDF yet. Because I'm not sure if I want to release them as freebies or as like a pack of like 4 little guys. But I think that's a project I'm going to work on in the new year, are these minis of some of my more intricate architecture pieces. Because Big Bach Tower that I designed last year or earlier this year is like 319 stitches tall. Big, big. And like 150 stitches wide. Because it's, it's intricate. But these little ones are going to be, I think at max, I think I made them like 35 inches tall. I'm not sure. They're very small. Or they will be really small because they'll be more like ornament size. That way, if you like architecture, but you want to do some littles, I'll have those available. So that's a plan that I'm working on. It hasn't, I don't have a robust list yet of how I'm going to do it. But yeah, so that's an idea. But then I got distracted. Maybe not distracted. Here's the story. I have been trying to write more and submit my writing to more things. And I actually just won 3rd place in a writing contest, a local writing contest. That was pretty neat. And I came out of that being like, what else can I do stuff for? And there is a local cat adoption bookstore. I don't know if you guys have these where you live, but we have cat cafes and cat bookstores where the establishments have roaming cats available for adoption. It's awesome. And so one of the cat bookstores wants to do a summer solstice reading. And so I was like, hey, I'm free that evening. I would love to do a reading. And the theme is winter solstice. Did I say summer the first time? It's winter solstice. And I actually couldn't think off the top of my head any writings that I had available, but I have enough time to write something new. And they were accepting poems, short passages, lyrics. I think you didn't even have to be the original author. It was mostly just doing a reading. And I was like, hey, I'd like to do this. And so I think I noodled on over to the winter solstice Wikipedia page to like remind myself of like what I wanted to work on. And Saint Lucy popped up. She's also known as Saint Lucia. And I remembered I had read about her sometime last year. Anyway, she is a wild ride, guys. Saint Lucy is like the patron saint of the blind and of Syracuse, but she's also really popular in Scandinavia because of like cultural exchange, and like she's kind of blended kind of into a pluralism with some other stuff going on in Scandinavia. And so a couple of her stories are that she wears a crown of, not a crown, but she wears a headpiece of candles. Hello, ma'am. She wears a headpiece of candles because she needed her arms to be empty so she could carry as much food as possible to persecuted Christians hiding in the catacombs under Rome in like 300 AD. How cool. She also has a bunch of other weird random stuff. So the whole thing about the blind thing is like her horrible way she was martyred. Because martyr stories are always intense. Look at her. Look at this little girl. This is Cora. She's my little gremlin. Anyway, so St. Lucy has a bunch of different things that are associated with her, and in the Scandinavian regions, they have like processions where you're bringing these little rolls that are saffron buns, kind of to your neighbors at night, and all of this happens around the traditional winter solstice, which was about December 13th before the Gregorian calendar. History time. She's got some other things associated with her, like kind of being the beginning of the Advent season. She's like a harbinger of light. So you see her mostly usually with this crown of candles, and she might be carrying like a palm leaf. And then also she's usually carrying like her own eyes on a platter. It's a whole bunch of stuff. So I got obsessed immediately doing the research for this, and I still need to finish writing the piece. And so I was looking up kind of images of her, like to see kind of what things are associated, and I came upon what might be like my favorite picture ever. And it looks like it's from like a Christmas card or something. I can't quite read the original artist, but here's Lucy riding what I'm calling the Yule goat, and she's like hanging out. She's making her rounds. She's in the snow wearing her little white robe. Often she's seen with a red sash to show the martyrdom. And there's like, you know, just some people hanging out in the background in the village, and she's just on her merry way on the Yule goat. And I was like, I have to design the cross stitch for this. There is a version of this that exists as a cross stitch pattern. I don't know how legit it is, I'm not gonna lie. It looks like it's kind of like in the mid, you know. So I didn't want to cross stitch that exactly. That's the inspiration for this new pattern, which is another freebie of mine. It'll be down below. I have to open it up for you guys. So I designed this yesterday because I'm in love, and it's loading, and here we go. So this is my new freebie for Christmas, y'all. It's called St. Lucy and the Yule Goat. Look at her go. I'm obsessed. I'm proud of myself. That goat was hard, y'all. The goat was a challenge. But here she is, riding on her Yule goat. She's going to be bringing you either saffron buns or gingerbread men or candy or presents or maybe her own eyeballs. Seriously, y'all, just dive into the Wikipedia article on it. But here she is. Sorry you're seeing the reflection of all the things in this. This is available. The link will be down below. I've already put it in some of my Facebook groups. But yeah, so she's, how tall is she? She's 55 stitches wide by 76 inches. How am I showing you guys this? By 55 by 76. She's not charted. Like this little greeny blue is just an idea of a background you could use. I love the contrast, but obviously she's not charted with that in the background. But when you download this, you can get the color and the symbol version, or you can get that version, which I tend to prefer when I'm stitching. Anyway, that'll be down below. Downloadable. Enjoy it. Stitch it when you want. Hashtag me, TallyStitcher Designs, so I can watch your progress. Let's look at it one more time, y'all. Let's look at this goat. And like the Yule thing is separate. Yule, you know, is a little bit later. But I love it. I love it so much. Good times. How many colors does it have? Let me tell you guys how many colors it has. More than you want. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 colors, which is appropriate because her feast day is on December 13th. I didn't even plan it that way, y'all. That's just how it works. So cute little motif you can leave out or in. What I'm thinking with her is because she has some of these very different associations with her. Like there's one where she's being pulled by oxen and she won't budge, and so like they're straining and she's not moving. And then there's like other stuff like with the saffron buns, all sorts of stuff. I might do like a freebie. That's kind of funny. I might do 2 or 3 more motifs of her and maybe make a bigger pattern, and that might go in the shop if I work on that. We'll see where the steam goes, but love it. Ma'am, excuse me, they're just all sitting on my stuff. Excuse me, can I have this please? I want to show the people. I know, just give me this, just this part. I don't have that teal. I have Mediterranean Sea, but it's for Bach Tower. But I have this piece plenty big enough. I have this piece of random even weave that I got. That's not the color. Let's close it up. Let's see if you can get better in the color. That's closer to the color. It's kind of like a beautiful a beautiful sage. Yeah, I like it. So I'm going to stitch her on this if I get around to stitching her. And because it's big enough, I could do whatever plan I want on that. So this came from that Mercari haul. There's also blue fabric that I'm doing Annie Pfeiffer on that came from this. So that's my idea for her. Please enjoy her. Please stitch her if you want. Please tell your friends. It's free. Everybody's giving away so much cool free stuff. Let's just keep passing it along. So that's finishes new designs. We're on the last part, y'all. This is plans. It'll be short. I have joined the Whip Go 2022 group on Facebook. I have made my Whip Go board. I think I shared it on my Instagram. I didn't save it on that because like usually the tablet is with my husband because he uses Pattern Keeper on it. It's a tablet that I've had since grad school and I don't actually use it that often. So, but I was like, we need to make this work. Anyway, I made the Whip Go spreadsheet. It's got, most of the instructions are to work on the project for 14 days, except for a couple where the call is to finish it. So like Cardinals, Kandamar, Annie Pfeiffer, I know are the three that I definitely said I need to finish. So those are on there. They're very obtainable goals, which will probably leave a little bit of room for other projects that aren't on there, new starts. I have a little bit more than 24 whips, I think. Maybe. I will. So yeah, so I'll leave some room in that. In order to track that, I used to track everything in my main life planner, but I decided to go ahead and get one for stitching just in general. This is from the Dollar Tree, y'all. This is actually my favorite planner. It suits my needs. It's a month by month. It's got a notes section. It's big enough. It's like, you know, probably, what is that? I don't know. I don't know the dimensions. Anyway, it's from the Dollar Tree. I've been using them for years. I have a different one for my main life stuff, you know, where I track like appointments and bills and stuff, adult things, but this one will be just for stitchy stuff. I might use stickers. I'm not sure. People, like kind of like a book of days, but yeah. So that'll help track Whip Go progress and stitchy progress and starts and stuff. I still have my spreadsheet that I track stuff in, but I don't track like hours or days or stitches in that. Yeah, so this is a little bit of a longer floss tube. I had more to talk about than I thought. So I'm going to go ahead and splice these two nubs together, see what kind of action I've got on the different video editor I'm going to use, and I will get this up. Thank you again for watching and joining me. I probably won't see you guys until the new year, unless, I don't know, something crazy happens. Yeah, so have fun, have happy stitching. If you start any of my designs, if you hashtag them TallyStitcher designs, I watch them all. I love it. I love seeing your progress. And I hope you have a great holiday season, no matter what you're celebrating, or even if you're celebrating just like having some time off from work because everything will be closed. So have a fantastic rest of your weekend, and I'll probably see you guys in the new year. All right, bye now.
Well, just another bowl of butterbean or pan.